And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Public Library, Tracy Frie and Peggy Bohlin with us this morning. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
In unison. I like it. Nail it. I think that's practice because the library really good. They get unison every time with that. So,
Well, it's after 9 o'clock,
this
so
is
we're
true.
more awake.
A little more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Very
Yes.
good. But not any less busy.
No, it's true.
There's the Roswell Public Library is hopping right now with activities and things. Obviously, tomorrow's a big day. Dia de los Muertos celebrations happening at the public library, completely free of charge.
Yes.
Yes.
Events begin about 10 a.m.
Yes.
And that's kind of come and go, right? I mean,
Yes.
you can
Definitely.
I mean, if you want to do everything and experience everything, get there at 10. But
Right.
they're workshops and stories and things, so they're kind of you
Right.
can round robin a little bit and go down, and then they're going to show a movie, The Book of Life, is
Right.
kind of the big finale for the event.
Yes.
Right? Very good. But that all gets underway. Do you know what time they're showing the movie?
I think I was told 3:30.
Okay.
3:30.
It's about 3:30. So
Yeah.
if you want to see the movie a little later in the day, but if you want to participate in the Sugar Skulls and the story of Little Rona and all that,
Right.
10 o'clock's when all that starts.
Yes.
Very cool. And again, free of charge. Doesn't cost anything, as is just about everything at the Roswell Public Library.
Yes.
I
That's
don't
right.
think you charge for anything
No, we don't.
unless you forget to turn that book in on time.
That we charge for.
There is that.
But it's very affordable unless you really, really forget.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that's just the tip of the iceberg. They're really, I mean, just about every week, there's at least 1 to 2 to 3 events that are going on at the library and they're all catered for different audiences. So if you got
Right.
the younger kids, there's plenty of activities and stuff for your little ones, and we're talking from like before reading, toddler,
Right.
infant. Up to school age kids, teenagers. There's lots of opportunities
Yes.
with coding and STEM and
yes.
fun teenage stuff.
Right.
That activities for your age group, and then of course adults as well. We got your adult workshops and things
Crochet.
to crochet.
We
That's
got the
Coffee.
coloring color.
Yeah, the adult
We
coloring.
have Mondays. We have a cup of Java. You can stop in and just have coffee.
Yeah.
That's
So there's something for everybody at the Roswell Public Library. So it behooves of you to go and pick up a calendar at the library. If you can find all this online if you're a digital high tech person. Follow and like if you use Facebook or Instagram.
Right.
Those are probably 2 best resources for the library.
Right.
Follow one or both of those. But if you're still old school,
Go to the
then
website.
come to the
too.
library or go to the website. You can go to the which you'll
Yes.
find the link through the city's website,
Right.
roswell-nm.gov. There's a hyphen and some other stuff you can put to go to the library, but I
Right.
don't remember any of that. Just click on the
Google.
library tab.
Google search. There you go.
And of course, you can go every month. You guys put out the new calendar,
Right.
And you can pick one up and then put it on your refrigerator and kind of circle and plan the events that you and your family would like to participate in the most. And that way, you're always up to date on what's happening and what's going on. If you're a parent of school-age children, there's no reason why you shouldn't have this there because
Right.
being a parent's tough enough. You got
Yes.
20 things going on. The library's full of resources and activities and events and projects that can help you help raise your kids. You know, I mean, they give you now that's not the substitute, but as far as you need help with you know, if you're a homeschool person
Right.
and and you're looking for additional resources to help with your curriculum, library's your Shangri-La. It's got everything.
Yes.
STEM at home kits.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically got the lesson plans and everything built for you. You just gotta rinse. What is it? Apply, rinse, and repeat, and
Yeah,
follow along.
Yes.
Does anybody repeat? By the way, have you ever washed your hair multiple times?
Yeah.
I mean, other than like something got in it. I mean, just in a normal. Well, you have a lot my hair.
I have a whole lot of hair.
Yeah, see, I'm a guy. I'm like, what's that 99-cent jobber on the thing?
Exactly.
My wife's got to get highfalutin. We got to get a second loan out to buy the shampoo.
Yeah, pretty
the
much, yeah.
shampoo. It's like $50. What's gold in that thing? There's a dollar one right there. another story.
Exactly.
But yeah, kind of give us a rundown of some of the things we got coming up and different events and things available for folks here.
Well,
Did you want to mention?
we have the story times, of course, on Tuesdays and
Yeah.
Wednesdays, and we have the theater game on Wednesday starting in November at 4:30.
Yeah.
And then we have the STEM classes on Tuesdays, Crazy Eights Math Club on Tuesdays at both of them at 4:30.
Okay.
We have our book club is going to meet on the 4th next week.
Okay. And this is for youth.
For youth.
Okay.
And that's going to be at 4:30. We're going to have the Lego club.
Okay.
On
And that's
third-
more of a family project there.
Yes, and families
'Cause
did
I
come
know-
last time, and it was a nice crowd.
Because I know we all love Legos. It's not just
saw
kids.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Grow because it's generational.
Yes.
Pretty much everybody on this earth now, or at least Americans and grew up,
Americans,
probably had Legos in their life as a kid at some point. It's just they've
Right.
been around that long, and all of us grew up to them, and so it's a connecting point. So
Yes.
Yep.
you teach it's a good bonding family experience there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we also have International Games Day, where we're going to have board games out on Friday, November 12th from 2 to 4.
Awesome.
And we're going to have a movie on the 20th, the Peanuts movie.
It's
Okay.
an awesome one.
It's
Very
at
good.
2 o'clock. And then Peggy's going to talk about the James Webb Telescope celebration we're going to have on November 13th.
Very good.
We also had the Junior Roswell Galaxy
Oh,
Club
I'm sorry, I missed that.
on Wednesdays at 4:30.
Very good. And that's every Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday. So you can come out, and that's for kids that want to learn about astronomy and the
Well,
star.
this
Rockets.
time at this point we're doing rockets.
Okay, so space related things.
Space related things, yes.
The things
we
that are
talked
already
about
there, how
Robert
we get there.
Goddard the last time.
Okay,
I mean,
you might have heard of that guy.
yeah. So I was like, have any of you kids ever heard of?
They named the high school after his brother Ted Goddard.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm kidding. Just kidding. People are like, really? No, I'm kidding. That's Robert Goddard.
And he's the one who does TED Talks.
That's right. He's a TED Talk. Yeah. I kid. That's named after the same Goddard.
That's right.
But yeah, of course you didn't know he is kind of considered the godfather of rocketry, and his research and his studying and his things are the very reason why how we go to space today is how it's done, and it's all
Right.
because of his brain. So yeah, so that's really cool to learn about that stuff. And I'm a NASA history buff, so I love all that stuff. And that to me, I mean, I'm not so smart with the science side of it, like but I love the history and love the what these individuals did in the space program. And it's kind of nice now because now with movies and books like The Hidden Figures and things, we're starting to see not just the jocks, the astronauts that
Right.
got all the glory. You get to see the actual nuts and bolts, the people that took the slide rulers. By the way, they didn't have computers and fancy
That's
things
right,
to figure this
no.
math out. They were doing all this stuff by hand, and they put people on the moon. I mean,
Right.
that's
Yes.
to
Impressive.
wrap your head around that, to go from concept to doing it in
Yes.
20 years. That's amazing.
That
That's just unfathomable, and I love that history of it. So that's all part of this and learning that stuff. So that's it. What else? What other events we want to cover and talk about here?
Well, the big event is going to be on the November 13th, which is a Saturday, the
Okay.
James Webb Telescope celebration, which Peggy will.
Yeah, I guess
Right.
maybe you should start with the James Webb Telescope and tell what that is for folks that aren't familiar.
Okay, so the James Webb Space Telescope is a humongous many people have heard of the Hubble.
Yes.
Okay, so the Hubble is not that far from Earth.
By
The
comparison of things.
Comparison, right.
I mean, you ain't going to see it tomorrow.
Well,
but,
you can service the James Webb. I mean,
Gotcha.
and it has been serviced
Gotcha. Okay.
5, 6 times. I don't remember the number. The James Webb Space Telescope is going to be launched. They're saying now December 13th, but they
Okay.
keep changing the date.
Well, it's engineering and more.
Right.
And,
It was supposed to be around Halloween,
Yeah.
so which is why we're having the celebration after it was launched.
Gotcha.
But it's okay, December 13th
now it's
or
a
whatever.
pre-party.
Right, it's a
Yes.
pre-party. And so when it's launched, it's going to go to the Lagrange point 2, which is much further away, and it will not be serviceable.
Okay.
So it's a one-time deal.
Kind of like
and
with the Hubble, it goes out into the never, and we just get the reports back from it.
Right, but the Hubble, like I said, we can service that one because it's close enough.
Gotcha.
But this
one's going deep space.
It's going deep space, and it's going to be doing infrared.
Like where Kirk and them are at. Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's going to be doing infrared imaging.
Okay.
Which is good because it can get much further. And then what they're saying
So we're going to learn a lot from this thing when it comes, hopefully confirming what we know and adding to it.
But they're saying we're going to be able to see the beginning of time, basically, the beginning of the universes when they're all, So that should be really, really exciting. It's huge. It's
What guesstimations, how long do they think this thing will travel to get to where we're starting to see
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah,
Never
it's
get
supposed
faster.
to take 6 months.
I feel like Hubble took a lot longer to get out there. But that thing had issues when it first came.
Yeah. The mirror wasn't right and the whole thing.
But man, 6 months seems short to me. It seems like it should be longer. But that's
but
amazing.
it's 6 months. And then they're talking about the fact that this James Webb has 18 mirrors and they're all hexagons.
Okay.
And so it's going to be shot by a rocket.
Okay.
Obviously, Ariane 3, I think, or Ariane 5. And it's going to be Ariane 5. I had that confirmed. And the mission duration is from 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
But they thought the ISS wasn't going to last that. They thought so many things weren't going to last that long, or the rovers on Mars.
Remember the Mir space station? That thing was up 20 times longer than it was supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So the rovers on Mars are only supposed to last a year, and they've been going and going and going and going.
Exactly.
It's like the Energizer Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
So this amazing telescope is so big that they have to fold it up in the Ariane 5 rocket.
Okay.
So when they finally deploy it, it has to unfold like origami.
So it's got to transform into its shape that it's supposed to be.
Right. Right. Because
so basically, it folds up to like a little pin. Well, not size wise, but you know what I mean. And then it unleashes out into the butterfly it is to do all the readings and everything.
Right.
And then I'm assuming goes on its journey.
Well, when it gets to the because
so it'll travel.
It'll be encapsulated until it gets there, and then
until it's rebel. Okay.
Yeah.
So it won't be monitoring while traveling. It's going to travel and then open up when it gets there, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it has like solar panels and this shield that will protect it from the heat.
Sure.
I mean, it's an amazing.
Well, and it's probably self-propelled with all the solar panels. That's why they're there to power and move this thing. I'm guessing that's how it's
right because it's going to be right.
It's kind of and it's neat. Propulsion space is a little different than it is on Earth, and so you don't need as much. That's what like the space shuttle. That thing could fly all around in space with the engines. But once that thing got to Earth, those engines are useless. It's a glider. And,
it becomes a glider when it comes in.
Other than the burners on the back that get it up on the ground, but there's actual other little engines on the wings and things of that thing to kind of tilt it around in space.
Yeah.
But those are useless in Earth's atmosphere. So, so that kind of it's. I'm sure they're using much of that same stuff on this to propel it to the nowhere.
To the Lagrange point 3. So the mission. I'm just going to read the mission goals of the James Webb Telescope. It says to search for the first galaxies or luminous objects formed after the Big Bang, to determine how galaxies evolved from their formation until now, to observe the formation of stars from the first stages to the formation of the planetary systems, and to measure the physical and chemical properties of planetary systems, including our own solar system, and investigate the potential for life in those systems.
Interesting.
So it's going to be an amazing...
So, I mean, if our scientists are right and everything, some of the oldest things in the universe will be there, right? Because I'm thinking if the Big Bang and everything, if they theorize that's where it started, and it goes out from there, so the older planets and whatever is out there are going to be closer to that area, and we're the young kids on the outside. Is that correct? And am I assuming that way?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So they're going to look way.
So
back.
So these plants are going to have big gray beards and stuff.
Yeah. But we know they're going to be around.
Off the lawn. I'm just kidding. But
exactly.
I mean, you think about that. That's really cool because you think of we look at our prehistoric rocks and things like this thing's 100,000 years old. These things, that's a babe in the woods compared to what we're talking about here. You know,
exactly.
that's to wrap your head around that's pretty impressive. To just think that that's a possibility.
And the images that will come from that should be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hubble images are beautiful to begin with, but this one,
I think we'll have one of those pictures of a guy going,
yeah.
we meet life. Yeah, he's like, about time you found us.
With a Roswell t-shirt.
That's right. He's got a Roswell t-shirt. Or better yet, he's got like one of those Super Bowl shirts from the losing team from 30 years ago. You know how where they get those shirts and those Buffalo Bills Super Bowl champ shirts. You know,
That's right.
He got one of those on. So. But so again, give the dates and times for the event here in November.
Okay, so the event is on November 13th. That's a Saturday from 10 to 1:30. And it's going to be in 3 locations, in the Malone Room, in the Bondurant Room, and outside. Okay. Because I've got a couple members of the Roswell Astronomy Club who will show up, and they're going to be bringing solar scopes.
Okay.
So hopefully it won't be cloudy. I know. Seems like every time we, plan a star party, there's clouds or winding.
Yeah, say if you're gambling, New Mexico generally has more sunny days than not. So hopefully we'll get one of the sunny ones.
Yeah, so that'll be nice, that they'll have the solar scopes, because of course you're not supposed to look at the sun directly, especially through a telescope if you don't have the proper filters on those telescopes.
Yeah, you'll burn your eyes out.
You will burn your retina.
Yeah, it's not good.
And I mean, at least you have 2 of them.
Yeah.
But you want to at least keep both of them. Good.
It's kind of like touching a hot stove. You're not supposed to do the same thing for your eyes. Just don't.
Yeah, don't do it.
Without the proper filters or protection, you are doing, and it doesn't take long.
Right.
I mean, it's not instantaneous, but you spend a good minute or 2 looking at it, you could do some damage. So,
through a telescope, it's almost instantaneous. If you look,
I've never looked at anything that powerful through there without it. I've always had the job like the one you buy at the box store for like $40. And
but those telescopes, if you look at the sun, you'll burn your retina. I mean, it's that powerful.
I was told not to do that, and I didn't. But I never tested the theory.
Good. That's why you can see with both eyes.
I didn't gamble like how long I got.
Yeah. So anyway, so some of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be building a telescope.
Okay.
We have 29 scopes. They're very, very simple to build.
Okay.
And so 29 lucky people will be able to leave with the telescope.
Okay. First 29.
Yeah, pretty much. And we'll be seeing a few videos. There will be some books read. Of course, we're at the library, so we should be promoting the books.
Absolutely. That's the part you're reading. I mean, watching things is good, but, read them too.
Exactly. Yeah. And then there's also, we'll be able to hopefully create a rocket pop-up card as well.
Okay.
I mean, because there's going to be time. So that's from 10 to 11:15, that's the plan. And then from 11:30 to 12:15, we're going to have, which is really exciting, we're going to have a speaker from JPL, which is the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. I was on my mind one. And her name is, it's very tiny here, and Dr. Alexandra Terenko.
Okay.
I'm probably destroying her name, but
well, you come out, she'll correct it for you.
Right. She's a NASA Einstein Fellow at Texas Tech University in Lubbock.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So she's in our neck of the woods.
Yep.
Right, but I connected through the JPL.
Gotcha.
And they got her as our speaker,
cool.
Which is great. So she's going to be providing a presentation. And let's see if I have the name of the presentation. The title, New Eyes on the Universe and Black Holes with the James Webb Space Telescope.
Very cool.
And so that'll be a half-hour presentation, and then she'll provide 15 minutes of questions and answers. And this is virtual. Okay. So she's not coming to us.
It'll be a Zoom or
style,
something. That kind of thing. Gotcha.
But that's going to be really exciting. That's from 11:30 to 12:15.
Well, and I got to be honest, that might be a little cooler because you're seeing her in her environment. And I imagine in that world, she's probably got cool toys and gadgets and things. You know what I mean?
Yes. Right.
And it's kind of hard to bring that stuff with you sometimes. Right. So you might get to see behind the curtain more than you would have if she was in person by coming out to this.
Right.
So that's...
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
so
that's
I was
cool.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
Because the Roswell Public Library... Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. Hold on.
It was in mine earlier. Must have jumped out and jumped in yours.
Maybe.
Stupid frog.
No kidding. Okay. That's better. You can hear me now.
Tracy,
Okay.
it's coming to you next. Don't let it in.
I know, really. So, like I said, I'm really excited about this presentation, about her being there.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
And I was going to say that the Roswell Public Library was one of 500 locations chosen by JPL
Oh, wow.
to host
So this is
a
an
James
exclusive
Webb.
gig.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
Cool.
And so I advertised it also on the Solar System Ambassador site.
Okay.
So it's out there for the public to see. And everybody's invited. It's a free, again.
Yeah. But kids, I love to bring the kids out, and because, I mean, obviously when you talk about STEM and things, you're about to see things that if you love this kind of stuff, you could be the next generation of these people in there doing it. And this is what, and it's amazing what they're doing. And guess what? The doctor you're talking to probably was a little kid at a library just like you, listening and doing this kind of stuff, and caught the bug. And next thing you know, they're in here making history. It's just amazing. That's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then at 12:15 to 1:30, we're going to be building a 3D model of the James Webb Space Telescope. It'll be on cardstock.
Okay.
And it's a pretty cool little model. You can see an example of it if you go in the library. There's a little
It's like the kit or whatever that comes. Cool.
And then I'll be providing some pages, some more, not worksheets, but fun pages for the kids to take. Activity pages for the kids to take with them and do at home or at the library if there's time.
And then parents, please utilize this. If your kid starts getting really into loving this, embrace that and do more things and encourage that kind of stuff. These are all great projects to learn and things, but it's also to inspire kids and get them to see the big world out there and what opportunities await them if they like. And when you find your dreams young like that, and they find those passions. I mean, those are the people that would take that ball and run with it. Next thing you know, they're, who knows? Maybe they're going to Mars, or maybe they're designing the next propulsion. Who knows? Maybe they're the one that creates warp drive, if that's going to be a thing. I don't know, but you know what I mean? Well, propulsion, and maybe you're the next Robert Goddard that goes from how we do rockets to now to how the next generation is going to be doing rockets, and that's what this is all about, and it's all starting with kids watching presentations and reading books about space and seeing a story about a person that went from a kid to becoming a top engineer at NASA. That's it's all within the reach. If once you find the dream, it's easy. You know what I mean? It's once you know what it is. That's half the battle. Is we don't realize these things exist or out there. And once, if you learn about them young, maybe you get more excited about it now, and the more passion, and you go to look at things like math and science as something that mom made you do, to something you can't wait to learn and try to unsolve the next problem, and to resolve and learn more, and that's math. Learning math in and of itself can be not the most fun thing. I get you, but once you have that skill set, that's where the fun begins, because you're going to apply those skills to solve the mystery, to understand why something's doing something, to create and to expand the next thing. All the fun things we have in this world, you can thank a scientist for. I mean, the toys that you play with every day, to the way you eat your food, to the way you drive your car, to the way you sleep at night. That's science, and all that's behind it. And this is the stuff that gets you there. So please, if you love this stuff, embrace it, run with it, and just come out and be a part of it. Because this is what makes our world a better place.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. My son's hoping on teleportation pretty soon.
Really? So he's going to be our next Scotty?
No. Yeah, he wants to do it, but he wants somebody to,
work it out.
He's like, there's got to be somebody who's going to be able to figure that out.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Hey, we made, some of those Star Trek advances are happening. We've done some of them. We haven't done the beam up thing yet.
Well,
we haven't worked on that.
Supposedly they've taken a pencil and moved it across the room.
Really?
Well,
yeah.
That's awesome to see. I will not be the first guy that does that.
No, me neither.
I watched Star Trek. I saw
I
what
know.
happened to the one that didn't do so well.
When you're turned inside out. Yeah, no.
You watched the movie The Fly.
Oh yeah, The Fly. Oh man, that's a great movie. I mean, young kids stay away but man, I forgot how Jeff Goldblum. That's one of his best movies.
Yes.
And by the way, flies eat gross.
Yes, they do.
Jeff Goldblum. Although I ain't gonna lie, he didn't look like a fly towards the end. He looked more. I mean, like when he was full fly, but like
Right.
in that transition, he looked more like some weird zombie thing than some kind of. I was like, what part of a fly does that come from?
He looked like he was in a chemical accident or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Well, it's an older movie. They
Yes.
didn't have as much CGI and things. They had to do it the old-fashioned way for real back then.
That's right.
But cool. But mark it on your calendars. November the 13th.
Yes.
That's a Saturday. What time does everything get underway there?
10 a.m. It goes from 10 a.m. to 1:30.
Now, like you said, is it come and go or is it
Yes,
pre-registered?
it's come and go.
But you said you got like if you want to get one of the replica rockets to build the kits, first 29 on those.
Not
So-
rockets, telescope.
Telescope. That's what I meant.
Yeah, but
I don't
it's
know why I
a
said
very,
rocket.
like I said, a very simple telescope, a
It's-
tube telescope.
Yeah, you get the telescope, not the rocket that's getting it there.
Right. Yeah. No,
You get the good thing; it comes inside.
that's right.
But and you know what? If space is not your thing, no problem. There's a lot of other great activities.
Yes.
Like for instance, come out to Dia de los. We were talking last week. Yourself and also Diana. We
Yes.
were on talking about that. Go back and check that out. But I think this is a culture building thing because
Right.
you know, there's maybe a lot of folks that have heard of Dia de los Muertos, but not know all the customs and traditions and the culture behind it.
Right.
We just think, oh, Mexican Halloween or something like that, and
Right.
that's not an accurate description of what we're talking. The only coincidence between it and Halloween is it falls around the same time of year. That's about
Right.
it. Other than that, they're not the same thing, you know.
Right.
And so you can come and learn the cultural side of it. And actually, once you start learning the story, it's quite beautiful, and it's quite. It's a story of family and love, and I mean, there's more than just dead people.
That's good.
Dia de los I know Muertos means dead. I learned that one. But it's more than that. It's pretty cool. Come out and I know Dinah's going to be telling the story, right?
Yes, she will.
The actual La Llorona story there.
Yes.
So, and I imagine she'll be doing that. But anyway, that starts at 10 tomorrow. So
Yes.
it is tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, right? Yes, 10
Right.
tomorrow,
Yes.
10 a.m. Again, all of that free, and everything we're talking about is free. If you want to get
Right.
and more
That's
about
right.
the event on the 13th with the telescope, free. But and if you have questions, don't hesitate to call the library or come by.
Right.
Like if you got more specific, like, hey, I got a kid that's be appropriate, and
Right.
and you'll be able to answer those questions.
Definitely.
And I imagine if there's an age issue, then it probably goes to maturity. It's like, okay, they're younger, but do they understand
Right.
what we're talking about here? Then come on in, let's do it. But if they're it's like, well, maybe not here, but let's start them here with this workbook, and then we'll get them to here.
Right,
kind of thing.
exactly.
And by the way, all the resources we're talking about, programs and events that are happening there. There's a ton of resources that all you got to do is go up to the front desk and ask for, and they'll help you with. And to be honest, there's a lot of resources online that you technically don't even have to walk into the library to get.
Right.
True.
That you have free access to as long as you have a library card and are in good standing, which is free to get.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
doesn't cost anything to get that. All you got to do
Right.
is come to the library, fill out the application, and you get a card. And the kids can do it. We always like to let parents be the authority of when they think it's the appropriate age for their child to get a card. But
Right.
more than welcome. I know we've talked about this a bunch before. A lot of parents, and myself included, was one that library cards, kind of that rite of passage. Like a lot of times you get your child their first wallet or pocketbook
Right.
or something like that, and you want to put something in it. You always put money. That's a. By the way, if you ever give a gift as a wallet, you're supposed to put money in it. If you don't do it, you look like a schmuck. Don't do that. I even use Yiddish words there to get
That's
you
right.
understand that. But kids want to put stuff in there, and obviously they're not running around with MasterCards and stuff. At least I hope not.
I hope not.
But they want something in there, so you put. And the library card's usually the first card That's like a real card that you pull out and use. It's not like your Captain America fan club card that, this card
Is that what you had?
is like a real, maybe.
Now the truth is coming out.
Maybe. I will not confirm nor deny. But that's kind of like their real card. It makes them feel like an adult. They get to whip out a card and show it to somebody. And,
Right.
and hopefully that cool side gets them into reading and gets them into seeing all the cool stuff that's available at the library.
Oh, and there's so much. I mean,
Absolutely.
I just Google something, I'll search the libraries,
Yeah.
Books, and it's like, okay, oh, they have that book too. Okay, I can check that book out.
You young kids, think of the library as the internet without the virtual side. Just
That's
everything's
right.
physically there.
And I like holding a book.
Yeah.
I like, turning the pages. I'm not a Kindle person.
Well, what I love about too is like especially when you're younger and you have thoughts and things and you're like, man, what a great idea, and then realize that, you know what? That is a good idea. They've thought of it and talk. You know what I mean? Like when they get exposed and they start thinking and they think this is the first time they've ever, and then they go to the library and find a book that there's a whole universe on what they just thought about.
Exactly.
And it's like, see, people thought this too. Here it is, and maybe you can contribute to there. And that's, they kind of, as you get exposed to things in your own world, and it's like, guess what? There's a book about that or something about that very
Right.
subject you're just learning about
Right.
here. Come to the library and let's now that your curiosity's piqued, let's learn a little bit more about it. And to be honest, that's how you get readers. I know school, they do an amazing job teaching reading and things, but at the end of the day, they're making kids read things and it's not things that they may or may not choose to read.
Right.
And so they look at reading as homework. Work
Right.
related, not something to do
Fun.
for their own personal enjoyment.
Right.
Yep.
So the only way to fix that is you got to expose them to books and things that they're going to be into. And once they find things that's for their level and their understanding and their world,
That
then
they enjoy.
then you've lit the fire, and they're going to go to the next one. And as they progress and get better and learn more, that will advance too. And next thing you know, that kid's going to be more worldly.
Oh,
People
yes.
always ask
Yes.
me, how do you know all the? I read a lot as a kid. I read. I have a bunch of useless information because I read a lot of stuff. Some of it sticks, some of it doesn't. But
Right.
but that's how I do these things. I learned it on my own. My knowledge of Civil War and things like that. When I start busting out boring general talk on the radio, people are like, "How do you?" I read this stuff because I was into that. That's what I liked, and I read about it. They didn't teach me in school. They taught me the basics, and then I went and started reading and went the next level on learning some of this stuff and understanding the history behind things and all that. But
Exactly.
that's because I chose to do that. And to be honest, in this world, that's the only way you're going. If you're not the one who's willing to do it, you're probably going to have a harder time to do it. So to instill that into your kids, you got to start it early. You got to make the love of reading something that's a good thing, something they want, enjoy, and look at it as a reward. Look at it as something, that they want to do, and treat it like candy. You know what I mean? Where, it's like kids don't like broccoli because we treat it, if you treat broccoli like candy, maybe, it's kind of like those Hidden Valley Ranch commercials where they're putting it. I mean, that's a bit extreme, far-fetched, but there's a little bit of wisdom in there on that with some of that
Yes.
stuff. And I think reading is definitely one that could fall into that because I think everybody loves reading. They say they don't, but everybody does if you pick the right thing to read.
Right.
That's what it is. 'Cause
Even comics from the newspaper.
Yeah.
Exactly. And with kids, it's all reading. It's good. Anything, especially when they're in that developing their vocabulary and their reading comprehension.
Oh, yeah.
That's how the more different types of things they read, because now they see it in different contexts, in different
Right.
situations. They see it on a can of soup. They see it on a book. They see it
As they're driving in the
exactly.
they're riding in the car, not driving in the car.
Right.
By rule.
Yeah, I think most countries have a license requirement on that. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. So I just saw the time. Is there any other events we want to make sure did we cover all
No,
those?
I think
covered
We
got
got
it all.
everything good. But if you have any questions about anything we talked about, come out tomorrow and ask them. You come on,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
call the library or whatever.
Please.
But get out, like I said, about 10 o'clock for the start of the Dia de los Muertos celebration. Ask questions. Come out if you want to learn more about anything we just talked about here, or if you want to get your children or you yourself involved. Book
Right.
clubs. We talked about book clubs. There's kids book clubs.
Yes.
There's adult ones too. If you want to get Adults, we need it too. Sometimes we get a little long in the tooth and forget to read and get wrapped up in life. Book clubs are a great way to kind of get you back into that because it forces you to see other perspectives too, which is another great.
That's true.
Another great tool of a book club there too. But any questions? Don't hesitate. Call the library. What's the front desk number there?
It's 575-622-7101.
Call that. You can also follow the Roswell Public Library on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
Great ways to stay up to date on everything. And of course, the Roswell Public Library's Roswell Public Library's website through the City of Roswell's website, roswell-nm.gov there too. Excellent. Well, thank you, ladies. We get it all.
Thank you. I think
We'll
so.
see you next time. And get on out. Have some fun. Dia de los Muertos tomorrow, 10 o'clock. I'm telling you, have some fun. It's in the morning, so you can still run around at night to do all your candy and trick-or-treating.
That's right.
Yes.
If you play your cards right, parents, your kids will be good and tuckered by about 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
But also sugared up.
And sugared up, yeah. Well, you got to pace them on that. Thank you, guys. We'll
All right,
see you
thank
next
you.
time. Have a
All
great
right.
weekend.
You too.
9:56.